Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're saying goodbye to Forgeworld. Not the whole thing, but another big step in the right direction. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Warhammer 40,000 and Forgeworld Legends and Last Chance to Buy. So if you haven't been around for a long time, I've been talking about the extinction of Forgeworld for some time and how essentially the Horus Heresy range and the new revision of the game was sort of just like a way for them to reskin all of the Forgeworld stuff, but in plastic. So they essentially said they were leaning in big on Horus Heresy, put out a big box set, but it's very clear by what they've put out since then, a bunch of vehicles from Forgeworld, but they haven't done the Assault Squad yet, they haven't done the Breacher Squads yet, like key troops units that people would need to actually play the game. But the truth is, Games Workshop doesn't care about the game. All they care about is shifting production over from the trash resin at Forgeworld into plastic kits directly from Games Workshop. And honestly, I think that's great because Forgeworld resin is terrible. Other companies do it 10 times better. The service is absolutely horrendous. And moving them over to the Games Workshop range and plastic, while initially might not appear to help with availability since Games Workshop has been struggling to keep stuff on the shelves, the truth is the kits are better, they're plastic, and they're cheaper. So maybe we don't see Forgeworld go completely extinct, but I'm perfectly happy with them just making special shoulder pads and helmets and everything else getting absorbed by Games Workshop. There's slightly bittersweet news from the Warhammer 40,000 fans today, as some long-serving miniatures will be retiring from the range, both classic Space Marines and a selection of Forgeworld kits. Last chance to buy Space Marines. The upcoming Leviathan box is packed with new Space Marines and Tyranids, including fantastic updates to some iconic units, Terminators, Sternguard Veterans, and Ballistus Dreadnought. The arrival of these three in particular means certain older miniatures are entering Last Chance to Buy on Games Workshop's web store. The Space Marine Dreadnought, the current Sternguard Veterans, and the current Space Marine Terminators. So all units that are essentially included in the new Leviathan box, so they're going to be replaced by the new ones and no longer offer the old ones. Which, if you've seen the new models compared to these three right here, is very, very clear this is an upgrade. Those who own these classic models needn't worry. They can still find a place on the battlefields of the new edition of Warhammer 40,000, representing kits that are still supported like the new Sternguard Veteran unit. Specialist flavors of Dreadnought, such as the Librarian Dreadnought, the Wolfen Dreadnought, and Venerable Dreadnought kit aren't going anywhere either. Importantly, and despite what heretical elements in the Noosphere might be claiming otherwise, the humble tactical squads, as well as many other classic kits, are not being retired. In the new edition of Warhammer 40,000, you will still be able to play a Space Marine army without deploying so much as a single Primaris Marine, if you so choose. So this is interesting, the way this is worded, because the truth is, Games Workshop has clearly been moving away from the word Primaris. They really haven't even mentioned it in this edition. So when they say that you can play a Space Marine army without deploying so much as a single Primaris Marine, is this just like a play on words because Primaris is going away, so nobody's going to be a Primaris Marine anymore? I suspect it is. All right, so next we're going to talk about Legends in 10th edition. And spoiler alert, every time we've seen Legends in the past, you could still use them in friendly games, but no longer in actual competitive or tournament settings. The good news for longtime collectors is that you'll still be able to use many of your older miniatures in games of new Warhammer 40,000. The new edition will support these units with comprehensive Legends rules, which will be available to download for free online around the game's release. These are 100% official rules with points, and we've actively encouraged you to use them in your games at home, in stores, clubs, and campaigns. Your classic units and characters are still awesome, and they deserve to see the battlefield every now and again. Legends rules will not, however, be actively balanced going forwards, so our recommendation is that these rules would not be suitable for competitive events. Forgeworld Last Chance to Buy. Talking of Legends, there's also a bit of a shakeup happening in the Warhammer 40,000 range from Forgeworld. Quite a few classic resin kits will be entering Last Chance to Buy, and for those units that don't have a contemporary analog, they will also get Legends rules. Alright, so we see a lot of models leaving the range. A bunch of the old special dreadnoughts, and then we also have a bunch of characters as well. So that seems to be the main theme for the Imperial Units. Named characters from Forgeworld and also chapter-specific dreadnoughts, as we have already been seeing come out of the range. And then if we look next at leaving the range for Chaos Units, so we see all of the Greater Demons, the Bloodthirster, Great Unclean One, Keeper of Secrets, and Lord of Change, all being removed. And then once again, we see the Chaos Demons have the Demon Prince and Herald for Khorne and Nurgle. We've got some flyers, and of course the World Eaters conversion set makes sense now that there are better World Eaters models available. So definitely seeing some big pieces and key iconic units leaving the range. And then next we have leaving the range for Xenos. So we have some big beasts for the Tyranids, big stuff for Necrons as well, a couple unique little units for orcs. Nothing too crazy here. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now back to the video. Already left the range. Certain Forgeworld products have already left the range, but people who own them will still get to use them with the updated Legends rules. So we see like Lambspeeder Tempest, again some more of the characters, Damocles, Command Rhino, and then a couple of the weapon pieces for some of the larger Forgeworld units. There will still be Forgeworld units for Warhammer 40,000, but the focus for them will be on the really big stuff like Titans and other kits that we can't reasonably produce at that scale yet. When we add new units in the future, they will almost always be in plastic, and there are a lot of plastic kits on the way over the next few years. So there we have it, straight from the mouth of Warhammer community. Forgeworld not going completely extinct, but slowly but surely, we're whittling them down. And honestly, I look forward to the day that Forgeworld no longer exists. For a long time, they have produced subpar products. They have had subpar quality control and absolutely horrendous customer service. I cannot tell you how many times I have ordered from Forgeworld and either a piece was missing, broken, deformed, which, you know what, if they were priced reasonably, would be completely acceptable. But the premium you pay for Forgeworld kits is not reflected in what you receive from them. And in my opinion, the best thing Games Workshop can do is get as much of the production away from Forgeworld and resin and into plastic. And I am really, really looking forward to the day when Games Workshop is making plastic Titans. And I think it's just a matter of time. They've already made some massive, massive units. And not only will the kits be substantially better in plastic, you won't have to heat them up or warp them or clean them because they're covered in toxic chemicals, anything like that. You can just open them from the box, clip them, trim them up a little bit, and start putting them together. They'll come with actual good instructions like Games Workshop kits do, and they'll be a substantially better price in plastic rather than resin. So in my opinion, everything happening here is a positive change for the hobby, for the customer, and I can't think of a possible drawback at all. So let me know what you think. Always like to hear your guys' opinions. Do you think that the inevitable extinction of Forgeworld is a good thing? Are you happy to see less models being offered from them and more models being offered in the plastic range at a substantially discounted price? Or do you like the exclusivity of Forgeworld and all the extra time you get to spend on the phone arguing with them to ship out missing pieces or heating pieces to try to straighten them out or make them fit correctly because Forgeworld didn't let them dry appropriately before rubber banding them together and shipping them out? Obviously, all hypothetical situations that have definitely not happened to me many, many times. So yeah, I think this is overall a great thing. And special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. Check them out to save 15%. Link in the description. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm all about less Forgeworld, less often. And I'm out of here.